Yo, what's up, strategists? Welcome to the Bitcoin Strategy. Today, I want to talk about how MicroStrategy or strategy is the NYC of the stock market, meaning it's very versatile in the way you can make money in. Explaining how it's a place for everyone, whether you're bullish or bearish, short term or long term, an investor or a trader, risk averse or risk seeking, or bullish on the Bitcoin space in the first place. Now, please note in this video, I do use MicroStrategy and strategy interchangeably. Both are the same company. Strategy is just the rebranded name that us MicroStrategy OGs can't get used to. Now, let's get into it. Going long and adjusting your risk. The simplest way to gain exposure to MicroStrategy is, of course, it's common stock, micro MSTR. As you can see, this is the chart. If we zoom out, it's looking pretty long-term bullish. You could do some technical analysis here to see how it's really doing. Short-term bearish as it's going down. So, from my observation, MSTR MicroStrategy is about a 1.5 to 2.5 times or multiple of Bitcoin's price action and has been pretty predictable, consistent, and a safe leverage bet on Bitcoin. Unless, of course, Trump says the T word, tariff. It is very predictable by some models out there. This is one model I consistently look at. This is the ballistic model. It's on microstrategist.com, and you can match the price of, let's say, 100,000 Bitcoin. This model estimates about $382 right now. Based on this model, MicroStrategy is overvalued by 23%. Doesn't mean that MicroStrategy is actually overvalued. People in the market just may be more bullish on MicroStrategy in the future than what this model can put out there. But if you're extremely bullish on Bitcoin and on MicroStrategy, there's leverage ETFs built just for you that give you a 3.5 or a 3 to a 5x multiple of Bitcoin's price action and pretty much a 2x of strategies. It tracks MicroStrategy's price action but amplifies it to a multiple of 2. These ETFs are, of course, MSTU and MSTX. The biggest difference between the two is that MSTX paid out dividends once, and that was on New Year's Eve. Now, please note that leverage ETFs do carry a thing called decay risk. So if you're going to hold these long term, make sure you know what you're doing. Now, this is a quick example of decay risk. If I could do it real quick. We'll use orange, Bitcoin Spirit. So if this is MicroStrategy, it goes up, we'll say 10%. That means MSTU or the leverage ETFs, they go up 20%. Let's say the next day, MicroStrategy goes up 5%. Leverage ETFs go up 10%. And then let's say MicroStrategy had a bad day and it drops. So I'm going to put this in blue. MicroStrategy drops, let's say 15%. The leverage ETF is going to drop 30%. And the more MicroStrategy drops, the further down these ETFs will go. MicroStrategy drops 5% next day after that 15% drop. The leverage ETF goes down 10%. So it just keeps going down and down and down. As we can see by this chart here, let me pull up the leverage ETF chart. This is what MSTU looks like. And this is what MicroStrategy looks like. MSTU is pretty much at its IPO price. MicroStrategy starting from about here. Yeah, you can see the difference. Now, going on to profiting from the downside, this is another way you can make money with MicroStrategy. Ever heard of shorting a stock? Shorting a stock refers to borrowing X amount of shares from your broker, so you're borrowing the shares from them and selling them in the hope to buy back in lower and returning the shares back to the broker, profiting from the difference. So you can borrow shares from your broker at $100. If MicroStrategy goes down to 50, you've made that profit in between. You could buy back the stock and give it back to your broker. If you're bearish on MicroStrategy, thinking it will trend down soon, you're welcome to short the stock. Now, instead of rage bait posting on X, you can now put your money where your mouth is and short MicroStrategy. Peter Schiff. Now, there are also leverage inverse ETFs too. That's MSTZ. I'm gonna pull up the chart real quick. MSTZ doesn't seem like the best thing to invest in as MicroStrategy keeps going up, but if you're like Schiff out there and think MicroStrategy and Bitcoin is worthless, this is for you. You could put your money in a pit of fire if you really want to. Now onto a play on options. A great way to make money in a sideways MicroStrategy market is to sell covered calls. If you don't know what covered calls are, there are many great videos and articles out there that can explain it better than I can, but selling covered calls gives you the ability to make income profit like dividends. But you do need to have 100 shares of MicroStrategy, which is currently $30,000. I don't think many of you have, or I don't think many people have $30,000 to put aside for that. But if you don't want to do all of the options trading, the covered call trading, look at the markets all the time, know what to put your money into, there's MSTY. MSTY pays out monthly dividends to the tune of around 10% a month or 120% a year. Please note that these dividends are taxed, so profits may vary. Do your own research. On to buying calls. This is your regular call option. So buying call / put options are a phenomenal way to adjust your risk into getting into strategy by capping your upside or downside. This is a illustration on what a call looks like. So this is your strike price. Let me pull up a laser. This is your strike price. This is what the stock is. Stock prices plus the premium. So let's say the call starts here, right? $110 a share plus the premium, right? If MicroStrategy goes down to $100 per share, this is the maximum you could lose right here, $100, but you have an infinite upside. Now to get a call, to buy a call like this, you need to pay the person selling the call a fee. Let's say it's $10. We'll say, yeah, $10. So you have to pay them $10 to get this infinite upside and a cap downside. That's a way you can manage your risk. Now on to, if you're not so, if you think MicroStrategy is going to go down, you can buy a short or bearish call, which the maximum you can lose is if the stock price goes up to $100, you're capping the upside. And if MicroStrategy keeps going down, it's an infinite gain. You could ride it all the way to zero. So that is how calls work. Now on to ETFs. OWMB, it's a pretty new ETF. I believe it came out 26 days ago, current trading session. OWMB, which is the Bitcoin, the Bitwise Bitcoin Standard Corporations ETF. It's an ETF that holds public companies under the requirements listed on their website. So these are the companies currently in the fund. And the index, it says right here, it requires that the company owns at least 1,000 Bitcoin. It weighs holdings by the amount of Bitcoin owned. The largest holding can be up to 20%. So MicroStrategy is a giant company, so it would probably take up like 60% of the fund. So they had to cap that. Automatically assigns a 1.5 weighting to any eligible company. So if a company has over 1,000 Bitcoin, they at least get a 1.5% stake in this fund here, and they rebalance it quarterly. So they swap in, swap out companies quarterly. There's a great website out there, Bitcoin Treasuries, and you can see, let me zoom in, this website's pretty slow. Under Bitcoin, you can see all the companies from this one right here all the way up. All these companies have 1,000 Bitcoin. If they're public, they're going to be in this list. I'm pretty sure it's only limited to US companies. But onto the next one, BMAX. BMAX, the Bitcoin Corporate Treasury Convertible Bond ETF, allows you as a retail investor to gain exposure to the profits on the convertible bond debt that's issued to companies that buy Bitcoin with it, like MicroStrategy and Mara. This ETF just came out, therefore it's an unproven strategy, so be cautious with this one. Just know that it's out there. Now, in short, MicroStrategy is a great company to own no matter what side of the spectrum you're on. Money can be made both ways, up or down. If the chart goes a 180, goes to the left, you could make money there, goes to the right, it crashes, it pumps to 1,000, you can make money either way. If you're a less experienced trader or investor and you're bullish on Bitcoin, I'd stick to the common stock MSTR or the Bitcoin Standard Corporations ETF OWMB, as the other options like 2x leverage, shorting the stock, those all carry much more additional risk. This video is not a push to provoke you to trade anything. Always make sure to do your own research before entering any trades. But nevertheless, if you enjoyed this content, feel free to like, comment, or even subscribe. It's very much appreciated. And as always, stay orange pilling, stack sats, and have a great rest of your day.